Taylor, you guys have been the NBA's leader in steals per game. It seemed like these last 8 games, it's just been a priority to just force turnovers and make things happen there. Is that something that you guys have just been really proud of, including tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Evan, you must have been in our coaches meeting after the game. We were literally just talking about that. I mean, Jason has told me it was a franchise record. You know, I don't focus on franchise records. I just love playing at a high level, but we literally talked about it as coaches. I mean, multiple guys with steals. And the fact that we don't really talk about it, you know, like let's get X amount of steals or create steals or whatever. We just talk about as being active. It's solid on ball defense, not gambling, you know, not fouling. You're going to create turnovers because our guys just inherently just are active on the ball. I thought there was a number of them, you know, maybe even almost half of our steals tonight were in just great rotations. You know, a couple where they're driving, kicking out to the 3-point line, you know, Kyle with a couple steals, I think Tyus, Melt, just guys being in the right spot off the ball too. So the fact that we don't use the word steals and we just talk about just being active and compete with our activity, you know, luckily it leads to, you know, creating those turnovers. And, you know, fortunately that allowed us to feel our fast break tonight too.
Earlier this year, you struggled with consistency. We talked about the blowout losses. And now you've played 9 games in a row where the team has showed up and played really hard and well. Can you put your finger on what has sparked that, you know, this stretch, I guess?
Just, you know, I think a care factor, which I think has been there. I think I said, you know, that's not discrediting the first, you know, however many games we were just kind of up and down, but I think our guys just understood, you know, God, we can play so much better. You know, sometimes it takes you a minute to, you know, get the chemistry and just, you know, remember all the standards that we talk about. It just doesn't happen, you know, just wake up day one. But we had to take some lumps. We had to take some hits, and unfortunately we had to take some really bad losses. But then we would respond with a really good win. But then it was back and forth and back and forth. So I think our guys kind of had just a moment, you know, credit to them, the conversations they've been having as a team, obviously in our film sessions, but I know they're actively talking about this isn't good enough. We're so much better than this. Let's let our defense fuel our offense and, you know, play that fun style of basketball that we play. So, you know, we use the phrase compete with our activity. Guys have really embraced that. You know, it's good that they're doing it more often on a nightly basis. But, you know, we got to need that for the long haul. But that's, you know, part of the identity that this team is trying to figure out.
Hey, Coach, most of your points in the first quarter came points in the paint, and then from there, just spread it out. Did that foundation that being strong inside allow you to go out to pull away from the game late?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. You know, I thought fast breaks, we weren't off to a great start in the first half, did a much better job in the second half. Then we get, you know, some transition threes or, you know, early in possession, driving, kick out threes, and it's multiple guys. You know, obviously Tyus is getting in there, but I love how DB's setting a tone, getting to the rim. You know, Jaren, you know, even when his shot's not falling, he's finding those go and catch opportunities to get downhill and collapse the defense. And then it just creates a rhythm for the team. You know, everyone just understands the importance of playing with force downhill. But, you know, it was a battle of the paint. You know, we went at halftime and we're usually the team that leads in the paint, but, you know, the Sixers, I think, had like 38 points at halftime, and Maxi's getting downhill on us, creating problems for us. But I thought we did a much better job defensively as well, winning that paint battle in the second half.
Taylor, Dylan said the other day that the way you guys are playing defense, he likes it because it's getting you guys ready for what the playoffs are going to be. Obviously, we're not thinking that far ahead, but just, do you feel like that's something you guys have learned, just the intensity that's needed for the whole season, just to get ready for even, you know, if that should come or not?
Yeah, I mean, definitely something that we don't stress about and talk about. I mean, we talk a lot about big picture, you know, where we want to be at the end of the season, playing, you know, the most meaningful basketball, but the most meaningful basketball is right now. And are we going to play at that high level, or are we going to be, you know, the defensive team that we want to be? We're going to be the unselfish offensive team that we want to be. But the fact that the players, you know, that's what I said a moment ago, the care factor, they understand that the work that you're putting in now is only building that foundation that you're going to just keep stacking on game after game, you know, throughout the season, and prepare you hopefully for, you know, what you can hopefully accomplish at the end of the year. But, you know, I purposely don't use those words that, you know, you alluded to in your question. It's about just getting better every single day. The fact that the guys are embracing it, you know, we've learned from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3 in different fashions. Hopefully we can just carry this out with, you know, a bunch of games left in the season.
Speaking of things that Dylan said, he thought that the Lakers game was, or that win was an important one because it gave a lot of the guys top to bottom in the rotation confidence. Have you been able to feel that confidence growing from everyone on the roster, top to bottom, over this winning stretch?
Yeah, I definitely think you can single out the Lakers game as a game where, you know, the entire roster, especially guys that are, you know, usually coming off the bench or guys that, you know, hadn't been in the rotation. I use this, example all the time. It's all the work that you put in. Like the guys get rewarded for the playing opportunity, but then they make the most of the playing opportunity. Lakers games won, but there's been a number of games in this, recent stretch here where hopefully it is confidence boosting, and it's any given night, anyone can make an impact. But when you get that production up and down the roster, I mean, again, another night where our bench is plus minus in production with assists and rebounds and steals and, scoring and all that stuff. Hopefully it's confidence boosting, but it's a product of everyone putting in the work, understand what we got to do as a team and everyone's responsibility when they're out there. Great. Thanks, everybody.